story before, and I'll tell it again. But when I was seeking ministry, I was attending church at Park Street, and they had an opening for a youth ministry. And I thought, well, I don't do that well with youth. I'm an old man. I need to be preaching to the older folks. That's what I thought my calling was. And so the pastor there, Charlie Gibbons at the time, he told me, he said, Rick, you want to apply for that job? I said, Charlie, I can't do that job. There's somebody who will work 30 hours a week, and I can't give them 30 hours a week. I'm already working 60 hours a week driving a truck. I don't have that kind of time to give. He said, well, tell them you're interested, interview with them, and tell them what you can give them. And so I thought about it, and I prayed about it, and I really felt like God was telling me to go to the PPR committee and to apply for that job and tell them that I couldn't do 30 hours, but I could do 10 or 12. If they were willing to take me, I could do 10 or 12. And so I went to the PPR and I presented that to them. They thought about it, they prayed about it, they called me back a couple weeks later and wanted to interview again. And I thought, hey, they're interested. They're going to hire me to do this job. I was already preaching for the preacher. I was already teaching Sunday school. I was doing all these other things at the church. I knew everybody there. So surely they're going to hire me to do this job. So I went and interviewed with them again. And the PPR chair said, well, after the interview, he said, well, we'll call you back and let you know what we've decided. Sure enough, they called me back that night. I can remember so vividly in my mind. We was in our conference room, Susie and I, the bathroom, and we were in there, and we were holding conferences. And the phone rang, and I answered it, and it was the PPR chair. He said, Rick, he said, we've given you great consideration. He said, but we want to keep our options open. I thought, yeah, you don't want it. That's what I thought. He said, we really would like to find somebody that can give us the 30 hours. We want somebody who can be with the kids and go to the high school and have lunch with them occasionally and have that 30 hours to work with them. So, we appreciate what you've done and what you're willing to do, but we just want to keep our options open. And I got really upset. Not so much with the PPR, but with God. I said, God, why did you embarrass me like this? I felt embarrassed because I had applied for a job and they turned me down. You're just a dumb old truck driver, is what I was thinking in my mind. Just a dumb old truck driver. You can't relate to those kids. That's what they're telling me. And that's what I began to think. And I become very resentful. And then I become resentful at Park Street. I thought, well, they don't appreciate me. All that I've done for them, free of charge, I asked them to pay me for something, and they just snub me and tell me no. So I'm thinking about, maybe I'll just change churches. I'm tired of this. And the preacher, why, he was the one that put me up to it, and he wouldn't even come in there and put in a good word for me. I was mad at Charlie, too. I was mad at the world. Went to work that next Monday morning, and I getting in my truck. I can remember getting in my truck, and the phone rang, and I looked at it, Charlie. I was hung up, put it back in my pocket. I hadn't talked to Charlie. He called me about 5 times that day, and I wouldn't answer the phone. I was too mad. I was afraid I might say something to him that I'd regret later, so I just wouldn't talk to him. So I came home, pulling up in the driveway that night about 8 o'clock. About 8 o'clock at night, guess whose car sitting in the driveway? I wouldn't go in the house. I went up to the building. I started messing with some stuff I didn't have nothing to do. But I was messing with stuff, and I thought, well, I'll just sharpen lawnmower blades. I ain't going to talk to Charlie. Well, finally, they hollered at me from the house. So I come down there, and I said, look, Charlie, I said, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk. He said, sit down and shut up. He said, now, I've got something I need to tell you. I thought, I don't want to hear what you've got to tell me. He said, what do you think God has called you to do? I said, God's called me to be a servant. He said, no. He said, don't give me those generic answers. What do you think God has specifically called you to do? I said, God called me to preach. That's what God has called me to do. I know that's what he said. He said, that's right. God didn't call you to be a youth minister. He called you to be a preacher. And he said, I just left the district office a little bit ago, and the district superintendent told me to come and see you. She wants to talk to you because she's got a church for you. You talk about God working fast. Now that was working fast. But you see, even though I failed the test because I got mad, I was furious with what God had put me up to. Why did God do that? I don't know. I don't know why God had me go down that path. Maybe to see if I was willing to serve as a youth minister. I'm not sure. But we serve a God that calls us to do strange things. Look at the strange things that Jesus done. He calls us to do things that are different, that are absurd at times.